So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. There is a saying that a woman's loyalty is tested when her man has nothing, and a man's loyalty is tested when he has everything. Today's story depicts the truest reflection of this saying. It is the tragic love story of Ikechukwu Ogbonna, popularly addressed as IVD, and his wife of 21 years, late Mrs. Bimbo Ogbonna, who just passed away a few days ago after a long, abusive, tumultuous marriage, which eventually climaxed to a violent incident leading to her death. Foundation, they say, is everything. And when the foundational structure of anything is faulty, you can be sure that the building will never withstand the test of time. Ikechukwu Ogbonna, CEO IVD Autos Limited, a luxury car dealer based in Lagos, and Bimbo didn't kick off their relationship in ideal circumstances. Bimbo was only a teenager when she met IVD, and as at then, IVD was not as acquitted to all the wealth that he enjoys today. IVD was a struggling, impoverished young man on the streets of Lagos State with big dreams, huge aspirations, and no money in his pockets to actualize them. Bimbo, on the other hand, came from an above average family capable of catering to all her needs and a good percentage of her wants. Bimbo's extreme affection for IVD didn't start yesterday. She always had an unhealthy, overwhelming, self-sacrificing obsession with this man, damning every other person and every other thing for this love she described as love at first sight. Very shortly after they met, Bimbo began acting crazily in love. She began skipping school, missing classes, and going to all extremes to be with him. She would con her father, steal from her family to provide the needs of this man. At a point, she reportedly handed over her school fees, all of it, to IVD in order to support him and feed him. As expected, she lost interest and focus in her education and became a truant in school. Eventually, she had to drop out of school. When Bimbo's family discovered who was behind their daughter's changed behavior, they took action just like every decent family will. First, they reported the case at the police station and had him locked up. Secondly, they began counseling their daughter very intensely. They even went as far as offering a truce, a bargain to IVD, money in exchange for him to stay far away as possible from their child, an offer which he rejected. In a bid to get Bimbo tied to him permanently and leave her family no option but to accept him, IVD got her pregnant. But her family didn't budge. They took her in, sent her for counseling, sent her to rehab, and even went as far as relocating her all the way from Lagos State to northern Nigeria, Abuja, to keep her far away from him, hoping that distance will do the magic. But it didn't. IVD would send several messages to her, threatening to kill himself if she ever left him, saying that his life was over without her. Bimbo, a young teenager without any consideration for her family or the impact her poor decisions would have on them, ran away from home to the warm embrace of IVD. Well, warm she thought, but that embrace will turn out to be the coldest, chilliest embrace of her life, as it will eventually land her lying alone in a cold slab at a morgue. Seeing how defiant Bimbo was in her resolve to cleave to this man, how she had forsaken her whole family and ran away from home, and how she has gotten pregnant and living with this man, her family were brought to their knees as they had no other option but to hand over Bimbo in marriage to IVD. Sad as it was for them. And the wedding, Bimbo claimed her father took a 100% financial responsibility for it. And even after the wedding, they barely had enough to survive. She claimed that their union was constantly funded by her family, and even her own mother had to give up her vehicle to them just for them to get by. Bimbo claimed she put her whole life on hold to help her husband build his. Of all the 7 children her parents bore, she was the only school dropout who didn't have a degree. She began embracing fetish and diabolical means to ensure that her husband gets financial breakthrough. She admitted on several occasions that she visited native doctors, witch doctors, black covens to get wealth and prosperity, not for herself, but for her husband, because she was of the thinking that if her husband is financially stable, he would ensure that she too gets some stability. She was of the opinion that if her husband's dreams come true, he would bend over backwards in ensuring that hers came true as well. Well, she was wrong. As time went by, IVD began to experience some breakthrough in his business and finances. They went from grass to grace. They were now able to afford some luxury. They even moved to their tastefully furnished apartment at Lekki, one of the highbrow areas in Lagos, Nigeria. Their life seemed good, at least from the outside. But on the inside, it was a torturous hell. After years and years of public insinuations and suspicions, in 2020, Bimbo threw in the towel and took to social media to recount her excruciating and agonizing ordeal that she had suffered in the hands of her husband in the course of their marriage. She claimed that her husband had so maltreated her. He had physically and emotionally tortured her. She said that he has been grossly unfaithful to her to the extent of having children with his several mistresses. She said he undermined her, put her so low that his concubines took a swipe at her and insulted her. She claimed that he had sent her and her children out in the cold at 11 p.m. on a fateful night. She claimed that he beat her up so badly and so frequently that on this particular occasion, when she was 8 months pregnant for her 5th child, he beat her up so badly that she slipped into a coma. She said that he had pointed a loaded gun at her severally in the presence of her children and had threatened to shoot her. She claims that he's a drug addict, a ritualist, and had infected her with several sexually transmitted diseases. These, among so many other accusations, did she levy on her husband. And on that note, she said that she was getting a divorce. The public was thrown into shock at the graveness of these allegations and hoped to God that she would indeed get one. But only 4 days after her outburst on social media, her husband, IVD, took to his Instagram page to show a video of them making up and getting along. And the word on everybody's lips was, "Women never learn." Well, that was merely a social media facade, because in reality, the abuse and toxicity worsened with every passing day. And honestly, the violence was on both sides. By now, Bimbo had fully metamorphosed into a monstrous beast, matching her husband arm to arm in his violence. The home was a wild, vicious battlefield to the view and the horror of their 5 children. At some point, Bimbo cried out to the public to take her children from her. She admitted that she is in no position, mentally or psychologically, to be with them. She was mentally unfit. She was a total wreck. She tried therapy, and according to her, it worked. But her returning to the marriage made the effect of the therapy very short-lived. By now, the marriage had descended to an all-time low. There was no love,
I won't take this no more. I will never, ever take this anymore in my life to end today. I'm ready for anybody. I'm ready for our family. Anybody, I'm ready. We'll do this thing normally the way we're supposed to do it.
There was no trust.
I have a witness. The witness that stays in this house is her brother. He was a witness. Then her son, who she have instigated things on, is also the witness. This is what she did to me. I won't take this.
There was drug use and abuse.
In drug. This is how you overdose yourself in drug. This is the shit that you do, and then you come online and say, I do all this shit to you, the real manipulator. This is who you are.
There was violence on the both parts.
See what this bastard did to me. See what she did to me. She just hit me right now. See what she did to me. This is me. This is me bleeding. This is me bleeding. This is me bleeding. This is me bleeding. Yeah, that's me. That's bleeding. She just did this to me right now. This is me bleeding.
There was a complete disrespect of the extended family structure and in-laws.
You want to destroy destiny. You cannot destroy his destiny. Put down for...
You bought the house for me. I'm putting it.
Put it. You destroy my picking destiny. Leave him. Not be now rescue to someone married.
Go and give your daughter proper home training.
Trainer because you can't carry him. Your mother, all my 6 children, all graduates were placed. You go marry illiterate like you.
You see that is an illiterate.
Illiterate like
all
you.
Your child, who is better than me? All your children, who is better than me?
All of them.
God forbid.
All of them. All of them. You know, even my last week, you know, reach in neck. Because you are an illiterate. You cannot behave the way you are behaving. Make I see you can't drive him.
It's you. I'll wait for you. That guy is going
I dare you. Because of you, I dare you. Make you come to
I will show you.
I will
show you how to
you did that before. You did that before. You did that before.
Come my house.
Which house you get? Which house you get?
The both parties had lost all sorts of regard and respect for each other.
Okay, this is a video of me again in my house. Actually, I got back yesterday from the work, and I was just so exhausted. And what I got from my partner was a heated argument and all that. She was insulting me. There's nothing she didn't say to me, but what I decided to do was not to touch her and all that. So see what she did. Burn curtains everywhere.
There was infidelity on the both parts. Yes, Bimbo took to social media to admit that she was romantically entangled with another man that she had met, and that he treated her right in a way that her husband had never treated her. And to top it all up, and to make it all worse, there was the existence of a sexually transmitted disease, an incurable one at that, HIV, which Bimbo claimed that IVD had contracted from his numerous lovers and infected her. The marriage was a complete disaster, yet they chose to remain together. Asking a victim of domestic violence or narcissism to leave is a very simple advice to give, but a very difficult decision to make. And for Bimbo, it was even more extremely difficult given her peculiar circumstances. Firstly, she met this man when he was nothing, when he was practically on the floor. She picked him and she helped him to be the man that he is today. She built him. Secondly, she had sacrificed her conscience and had literally sold her soul to the devil, visiting witch doctors just to bring him wealth. Thirdly, she had forsaken her whole family and ran away from home just to be with this man. She had lost all relationships. Fourthly, she had 5 children for this man with no business or cash flow that can sustainably keep her or these children afloat if she left. And worst of all, she had contracted the incurable HIV virus and feared that which man in this world would want to settle with her giving her status as a HIV positive person with 5 children. She had totally given up on an independent life without him. She had lost herself, lost her whole being in that marriage. She felt like she had no life outside of him. She was trapped. A few days ago, news made it out that in the process of confronting her husband on his conduct and all the atrocities that he had befallen on her, a heated argument and fight ensued, leading to Bimbo setting the house ablaze, and in the process, she got engulfed in the fire. Her husband was said to have made it out, sustaining minor burns. Bimbo was burnt beyond recognition and was being rushed from one hospital after another, which constantly rejected her because of her critical condition, until one hospital finally accepted her. And despite the doctors' battles to save her life, all their efforts amounted to futility as she eventually gave up the ghost. She died, leaving behind her parents, her siblings, her dreams, and all 5 of her children. While thousands of people mourned the untimely passing of Bimbo, who was only in her 30s, early 30s at that, the one person who should have been thrown into the deepest shock and state of mourning, her husband IVD, took to social media to mock his late wife instead. He had this to say: "My greatest hurt will be that at my funeral, everybody would be like, Bimbo was such a fantastic human being. A clown. She's that one person you had on your SOS call. She had the biggest heart, very smart. She looked out for her family. Bobby, yeah. My corpse will wake up and shout, 'Shut up, all of you,' and put me inside the ground. Let me be with my God. Bobby, yeah. Pablo Escobar na my mate." You didn't get the memo and eulogy at his funeral. Now, for real, I am laughing at my dumb ass. You see why I'm still alive? I don't even take myself seriously. Was that a joke? Somebody pinch me. Was that a joke? Was that the message that came from a man whose wife of over 2 decades just passed? A woman who bore him 5 children? See, IVD might not pass the clinical definition of an insane person, but I bet that there's something fundamentally wrong with him. How can this be the reaction of a man whose wife of 21 years just passed a few hours ago? No sadness, no pain, no remorse, no empathy, no regrets, only jokes and jabs. Bimbo's sister even claimed that IVD was the one that pushed Bimbo into the furnace and videoed her while she burned.
Base money's gone. IVD, you pushed my sister into the fire. You watched her burn. You videoed her. This fire is burning me. You burnt me. This fire is burning me. You watched her burn. You pushed her into the fire. You were videoing her burning. Oh, Chimo. Hi. This fire is burning me. Hi. I don't have to eat anymore. This fire is burning me. It's burning me. This fire is burning me. This fire is burning me. This fire is burning me. Oh, IVD. You're on the run. Oh, run. Oh, run.
What a sad story. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, brings us to the end of the hellish marriage of late Mrs. Bimbo Ogbonna and her husband Ikechukwu Ogbonna. A marriage which had long failed, but the parties involved refused to be separated alive. And now they have been separated in death. This is such a tragedy and a big lesson to all of us. Do let us know what your comments and reactions are to this story right in the comments section. So thank you so much, guys, for sticking around with me today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. There's so much more coming your way. Do give this video a big thumbs up and drop all your feedback, all your thoughts, all your emotions right in the comments section. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.